On Tuesday, November 27th, the women's basketball home opener welcomed 1,100 fans. Living in the northern Kentucky area his entire life, Coach Dave Beazle tells us how lucky he is to be NKU's Division I basketball coach. Sanitation District 1 plans to double rates for Northern Kentucky customers in the next 4 years. They say by doing so, they can fix the broken pipes, the ponding water, and the unwanted leakage. Since the beginning of the NKU women's soccer program and now to the first Division I season, Coach Bob Sheehan has built a legacy at NKU. In 2008, former FCC Commissioner Deborah Taylor claimed that one of the top reasons for college dropouts was online gaming, specifically the game World of Warcraft. However, today, NKU students tell us one of their favorite places to study is in the NKU game room. And just a few weeks ago, there was a similar robbery just a street over. It's making college students more cautious about locking their doors today. Along with Jamie Baker, there were 6 other cancer survivors who contributed to the taste of new hope. You may believe that farmers feed their cattle apples and bananas. However, recently, farmers have been turning to new alternatives, such as gummy worms, candy bars, and desserts. Students were surprised to find this purple monster in their library on Monday. The artist took a prehistoric car combined with a prehistoric dinosaur to make a masterpiece. Hello everyone and welcome to the 2012 NKU Sports Show. I'm your host, Alyssa Walterman. Over the weekend, the fall seasons came to a close as men's soccer and also volleyball hosted 2 home games. Let's go to the highlights. We hope you've enjoyed our first episode of the 2012 NKU Sports Show. We look forward to seeing you next time, Norse fans. Thanks for watching. I'm Alyssa Walterman.
A University of Cincinnati student shares a scary story of how he woke up to find a robber holding a gun to his head and demanding his stuff. This is the second time a robbery like this has happened on UC's campus in the past 2 weeks. Craig Todd and his roommates faced an attempted robbery last week at their house in Clifton. Todd was woken up at gunpoint and was forced to wake his roommates.
Yeah, first reaction was just like, is this really gonna happen to me? Like, no one expects that to happen to them. To wake me up, he actually he bumped me 3 times in the chin, with the tip of his pistol.
The masked robber told them to begin loading bags with their money, DVDs, Xbox, and other expensive belongings. After police arrived, the robber dropped all of the stolen goods before he escaped from the scene.
We could have prevented it. It was we had our basement door unlocked.
And just a few weeks ago, there was a similar robbery just a street over. It's making college students more cautious about locking their doors today.
It's pretty scary. I was really nervous, but I was more calm than I thought I'd be during the situation.
No one was hurt, and the attempted robber did not get away with any items. If you know anything about either robbery, call Crime Stoppers at 352-3040. You could earn a cash reward for your clues. Crime Stoppers is presented this month with the help from United Dairy Farmers. It's an inspiring story about hope for a cure. A local cancer survivor releases the second addition to her cookbook. Jamie Baker of Fort Thomas was diagnosed with acute myelodinous leukemia in 2006. While in remission, she came up with the idea for a book of recipes. 5 years later, and still cancer-free, she makes the release of another edition with the help of a few others. Each have an amazing story to tell.
I wanted to do something, and I thought that I've met a lot of people along the way that have had to go through the same experience, some not successful in the end, and I just felt like their stories were extremely inspirational, and I wanted to share them as well.
Along with Jamie Baker, there were 6 other cancer survivors who contributed to the taste of new hope.
It's completely been worth it, not only just for the potential of the book to raise funds to help find a cure for cancer or just help send a child to a camp where they can forget about their serious illness for a week.
Jamie hopes to raise over $20,000. All money made from the book will be donated to different organizations. The book made its official release at Blue Marble in Fort Thomas last week. 1,000 copies were printed, and Jamie hopes to make a reorder. If you are interested in purchasing this book, you can find it at the Blue Marble in Fort Thomas or on their website at thetasteofhope.com. In Fort Thomas, Alyssa Walterman, Local 12 News.
Today, we would like to welcome the men's basketball coach, Coach Dave Beazle, to the show. Welcome, Coach, to the show. Thanks for being here today. How are you?
It's my pleasure. Doing well. We're glad to be here.
The season is here. It's crept up on us. We've been waiting a long time for the first Division I season. Tell me how it's going so far.
But what we had to do is, again, it's one of those things where in order to get started, you have to really give a lot on that front end. So we went on the road. We're on the road all of November, December, and the first week of January. Then in return, next year, it'll allow us to get 4 home games. So for instance, we went to San Diego, and out of that trip, we're going to get a return game from the University of San Diego as a home game. We're going to Navy and Hampton, so out of that, we'll have 2 more home games next year from those guys. So it's things like that that we had to do this year in order to get home games started. And it'll be a little difficult, or a little different next year, a little easier to schedule that way, but that's just the way it is for transitional teams.
Yeah, and it's still exciting because of who you are playing and what you can bring back to the Bay Kentucky Center. What are some other things that you're looking forward to in terms of coming back home and being home as a Division I team?
It's neat to bring in, and again, we're trying our best to bring as many names into this facility that our students can identify and say, hey, you know what, I want to go see them play Navy. I want to go see them play this team. So, you know, it's very difficult to do, but we're trying our best to do that.
And I will be an alum next year. I cannot wait to come back and see games like that. That's so exciting. So in preparation for next year, it sounds like a lot of this year is preparations and looking forward to future years. You're making history. So how exciting is that?
It is. It's a tremendous, humbling experience.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned a lot about size and height specifically. I mean, you have Stretch Watson and Jalen Billups there. Talk about speed more for me, though. Tell me about some individual players who really are going to do well with pace and speeding down the court and keeping up with Division I players.
Well, that goes to our quickness, and Chad Jackson has that. Not only, instead of setting goals like winning the conference championship, making it to the NCAA tournament, every game we play is a tournament game for us. I mean, it's exciting. You know, nobody expects us to win any of those games. We're the underdog in every one, okay? So when we do it, it's going to be special. Every game you win is going to be a special accomplishment this year. So that's what we know where we're at.
So basically going in every game, playing every game like it's a tournament game and trying to work for those wins.
Oh, absolutely. And that's very difficult. It's very difficult as far as we're used to being in a car, having some snacks in the back and a few waters and driving thousands of miles.
Right, that kind of timing is crazy too, just having specific regulations and rules. How was adjusting to that for you?
It was difficult. I have this fear of flight. I really, really do. But it's something that I had to deal with, and it takes someone. I've got a very good coaching staff, assistant coaching staff, and it took a lot of preparation for them to really lay this out and make sure that we were in the spots we needed to be on time with the flights and everything. So they did a tremendous job just getting our schedule set.
So you gave us a general overview of recruiting. Were there any specific stories this year about recruiting that you kind of were like, I wasn't expecting that to happen, or maybe something that was unusual to you, or something that took a lot for you to take in?
Story that is kind of, I'm sitting in a gym, and next to us, I believe it was myself and Kevin Chappelle, my assistant, and then Coach Huggins was with us, and then he had left. West Virginia's head coach, Bob Huggins, who was at University of Cincinnati, called back and said, hey, I'm leaving for Vegas in about 2 hours. Does Bees want to go with me? And I'm going, I don't know. Well, he had a private jet, and he wanted to know if I wanted to jump on it, fly to Vegas with him to watch games, and then fly back in the morning. And
You're kidding.
Yeah,
wow.
And you're going, really?
Yeah. Where's your private jet?
Exactly. So those were the things that happen. And it's an interesting Division I. It's an interesting group of guys coaching there, and they really do look out for each other. I know you see the competitiveness on the court and everything, but that happens a lot where a coach will say, hey, I've got an extra spot. You going to Vegas, you can jump in. You know it? And to have the great opportunity we have, sometimes that happens.
And I bet they love it too, coming to games and see their father on the sidelines coaching a great team and seeing him in a great program, especially your son. I see him around a lot, so that's also a good thing.
Oh, absolutely. What other kid? I always tell him how special it is and how lucky and fortunate he is to be able to come and not only be able to come to games and stuff, to be around such great people. This program up.
We are looking forward to it. We can't wait to see what the season brings. We are looking forward to the home games in January, and good luck along the way, Coach. Thanks for coming today.
Thank you very much.